Hi, I'm Darren Troseth, also known as Detro. What I'm going to be doing today is going through a few of the basics for what we do for catfishing up here in Minnesota. Basically, I've had several requests from YouTube users just to go through a few of the tactics we use here for channel cats and flathead cats. So I'll start off with a channel cat right here. You can see back behind me here we got a classic mid-river snag. We got a deep hole in front of it. Basically, when people ask what a snag is, this is a snag, just basically a tree that was floating down the river at one point or another and got hung up on the bottom, and it stayed there. What you want to do when you look for these snags is look for some older pieces of wood that those fish have recognized for a while and starting to make it at their home. Those fish are probably holding right in that snag right now. It's 10 after 1. It's a sunny day, so those fish are probably holding right up in that snag. We're fishing in about 21 feet of water. Right here there's a big hole in front of that snag. Those fish might actually be sitting in this hole here as well. So what I'm going to do is I'll go through my gear here. Basically what I'm using here is this rod is a custom built rod made by Midwest Rod and Reel here in Prior Lake, Minnesota. It's an 8.5 foot rain shadow blank. It's a medium action. It's graphite fiberglass composite. It's a real slow action, so when the fish grabs that bait with this circle hook I use, it almost acts like a rubber band. It'll spring back and forth, and when that fish runs with it, it'll give enough tension relief that hook will hook as it's coming out of the mouth. The reel, this particular reel is a 6500 Abu Garcia. It's the Trophy Collection Catfish series. It's basically a 6500 that's been rebadged, geared towards the catfisherman. It's got a bait clicker on it. I don't use a bait clicker very often for channel cats, but it does have a bait clicker on it. For terminal tackle, I'm using a 4-ounce no-roll sinker. I have about a 10-inch leader and about a 6-aught Gamakatsu octopus circle hook. Not sure if you can see that very well or not, but that's what a circle hook is. And basically how a circle hook works is that fish will be coming up to the bait. It'll grab that bait. As it grabs it, it'll move away from it, and that line will pull out, pull out, pull out. It won't catch it, and then it'll catch right as it comes out of the corner of its mouth. Hopefully that's the design intention. This hook has a little bit of an offset on it. I prefer a little hook with an offset. It seems to grab a little better on its way out. Sometimes it does tend to grab before its way out, but I've had pretty good success with it. So that's the terminal tackle. What I'm going to be using today is, just for convenience sake, I'm going to be throwing a cut bullhead on. Normally I like to use cut suckers, cut creek chub, variety of different types of baits, but I would guess my go-to would be cut creek chub, just because they're easy to get and the fish love them. So with these bullheads, we use about 6-inch bullheads, and essentially what I've done is I've cut off the head and the tail. Bullheads are nice and bloody, so it leaves a nice blood scent for these fish. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to hook a little piece of skin. That skin's real tough. I barely have that hook through anything. Leave the hook point exposed for when that fish grabs it, he'll get hooked. What I'm going to do is, just from experience here, I'm not going to toss it way back in that snag because it'll get hung up as soon as I throw it out there. So I'm actually going to keep it closer to the boat in this hole here and hope that they'll come up out of that tree and find it. We do have a little cut bank in the bank back here where it's forming a little eddy and a little scour hole, so that's also a spot I could throw it up into as well. But I'll start out with just throwing it behind the boat here. You can see I didn't cast out way into that snag. It's just way too woody. I mean, I know there's fish in there, but it'd be tough to get them out of there. What's happening here is the main channel is actually between me and the bank, which is not very far at all. It's kind of funneling in between these two snags, so I have a feeling those fish are probably traveling along that main channel. We have a shallow sandbar on this far side over here, and like I said, it's basically funneling those fish into this corner here. So we'll let that stay out here and then I'll go through some flathead tactics.